Christmas is supposed to feel warm, lights glowing, families gathering, snow falling gently across quiet neighborhoods. But every December in towns scattered across America, something else walks in with the snow. Something ancient, cold, and hungry. It slips between pine trees, lingers outside windows, and waits in places where holiday cheer is supposed to shine the brightest. Sometimes it leaves clues, footprints no human could make, shadows that move against the wind, Christmas ornaments that shake on their own. Other times it leaves nothing at all except a missing person report. Tonight, you're about to hear 5 real Christmas stories the police still can't explain, cases the families stopped talking about, and encounters witnesses wish they could forget. So lock your windows, check your hallway lights, because these stories don't just happen in the dark. They happen on the most peaceful night of the year. Story 1. The Girl in the Red Coat. True Case, USA Midwest. It was December 23, 2009, when the Patterson family decided to visit the Christmas market in their small Midwest town, the kind with handmade crafts, hot cocoa stands, and an old-fashioned carousel running all night. 9-year-old Abby Patterson loved the place, especially the carousel. Witnesses later said they saw her wearing a bright red winter coat and a matching knitted hat, the only splash of color in a night filled with snow and shadow. Her mom remembered Abby tugging her sleeve before she ran toward the carousel. "Just one ride, Mom, please?" Her mother laughed, handed her $3, and told her she'd wait by the cocoa stall. The ride lasted 2 minutes, and Abby never came back. The carousel operator, an old man named Joel, swore she stepped off the ride normally. He remembered it clearly because he joked, "Stay warm, kiddo. Santa's checking the cold ones first." But Abby didn't walk toward the cocoa stand. She didn't walk anywhere. Someone else saw her first. A teenage boy working the kettle corn booth told police he saw Abby standing near the edge of the market talking to someone. He couldn't describe the face. He tried, but all he remembered was tall, really tall, wearing something dark. A hood, maybe a coat. I just know Abby was looking up, way up. No one else saw the figure. No one else saw Abby leave. Her footprints in the snow trailed off behind the market tents, and then simply stopped. Not smeared, not blown away. Stopped. As if she lifted straight off the ground. Police searched for days. Volunteers combed the woods. Dogs found nothing. Drones found nothing. It was like Abby had been erased. But here's where it gets strange. On January 7th, 2 weeks after she vanished, her mother found something lodged in the Christmas wreath hanging outside their front door. It was Abby's red knitted hat, the same one she'd been wearing the night she disappeared. Completely dry, completely clean. No snow, no dirt, no sign it had ever been outside. And it wasn't there the day before. Neighbors reported seeing a tall figure near the Patterson house late that night, standing near the street lamp, motionless, just barely visible through the snowfall. When police reviewed doorbell camera footage from houses on the block, they found a single frame, just one, where a massive shadow passed across the lens at exactly 3:16 a.m. The footage glitched immediately after. Abby was never found. But every year, one day before Christmas Eve, the Pattersons find something new left on their porch. A child's mitten, a tiny shoe, a wooden toy. Always small, always clean, always left between 3 and 4 a.m. And the doorbell cameras never catch who leaves them. But the witnesses, they say the same thing every year. A tall man in a long black coat, watching the house, standing in the snow, not moving, not breathing. No footprints, no tracks, nothing but gifts. The police don't have a name for him, but the locals do. They call him the Christmas Watcher, and some say he still roams the Midwest every December, looking for children who wander a little too far from the lights. Story 2. The Light in Cabin 6, Colorado, 2017. True incident. Every Christmas, the Carter family rented a small mountain cabin in Colorado, the same one for more than 10 years. It sat deep in the Rockies, surrounded by tall pines, heavy snow, and absolute stillness. The kind of place where the world feels paused. They always took cabin 4, the safest, closest to the ranger station. But in 2017, cabin 4 was already booked, so the ranger handed them a different key. A rusted old number-faded key. Cabin 6. The ranger hesitated before sliding it across the counter. "If you hear anything weird at night, it's just the wind up there," he said, avoiding eye contact. The Carters didn't think much of it. They were used to mountain noises, creaking logs, falling snow, wind scraping the trees. But cabin 6 sounded different the moment they stepped inside. The air felt colder than outside. The inside smelled like wet wood and rusted nails, and the lights flickered, not randomly, but rhythmically, almost like something breathing. They joked about it, dumped their luggage, made hot chocolate, and put on old Christmas movies. By 10 p.m., the cabin felt warm and safe again, at least until 11:37 p.m. The first incident, the flash of light. Sarah Carter, the 16-year-old daughter, was brushing her teeth when she noticed a strange glow leaking through the bathroom window. It wasn't a porch light. Cabin 6 didn't have one. This was brighter, whiter, almost like someone shining a flashlight directly at the cabin from the forest. She peeked through the window, but the moment her eyes reached the glass, the light snapped off, instantly, as if whoever held it had been watching her and didn't want to be seen. Sarah stepped back fast. Her mom heard her gasp and ran over. "Someone outside," Sarah whispered. "Someone watching." Her father grabbed a jacket, opened the front door, and swept the flashlight across the trees. Nothing. No footprints. No movement. No sound. Not even wind. Just a silent, frozen forest. He brushed it off as a trick of the snow reflecting the moon. But Sarah wasn't convinced, because she knew what she saw. Two human-shaped shadows behind the trees. At midnight, the scratching begins. Cabin 6 had old wooden walls, so noises were normal. But these scratches weren't wood settling. They were deliberate, slow, dragging, like fingernails tracing the outside of the cabin. Shh, shh, shh. The sound circled the cabin. First the back wall, then the right side, then the front. In a perfect slow loop, the scraping stopped only when Mr. Carter yelled, "Hey, who's out there?" Silence. Then, 3 hard knocks on the front door. Not rushed, not panicked, just slow, measured, waiting knocks. Mr. Carter rushed to the peephole. Nothing. No shape. No person. Just the snow falling gently into a pitch-black void. When he opened the door, against everyone's protest, the porch was empty. But in the snow sat something strange. A perfectly shaped snowball, placed dead center on the doormat, not thrown, not fallen, placed, as if left as a message. 2:14 a.m., the Christmas ornament. Unable to sleep, Sarah kept staring at the living room window. Something about the darkness outside felt wrong, too heavy, too still. Then she saw movement. A small glint, a flicker, something swinging from the branch of a pine tree outside. She stepped closer. Her blood ran cold. It was a Christmas ornament, a red glass ball, hanging from a branch that had no business holding it. It wasn't there before. It wasn't theirs. And it was moving, swinging gently, even though the air was completely still. Sarah squinted and froze. Inside the glass ornament, through the warped reflection, she saw a tiny face, a child's face, mouth open, eyes wide, frozen in a perfect silent scream. She stumbled backward, knocking over a lamp. Her parents came running. When they looked outside, the ornament was gone. The branch was empty. No rope, no hook, no marks, just untouched snow. 3:11 a.m., the lights in cabin 6 turned themselves on. Every lamp in the cabin snapped on at the same exact second. Not slowly, not flickering, just a click and all lights blazing. The family jumped awake. Mr. Carter grabbed a fire poker. Sarah hid behind the couch. Mrs. Carter called 911, but the phone had no signal. Then, the lights went off, all at once. The entire cabin sank into a suffocating, unnatural darkness. Sarah whispered, "Dad, someone's in here." She wasn't wrong. Something was. Because from the far corner of the cabin, behind the dining table, came the faint outline of a figure. Not human-shaped, not fully visible, just tall, thin, long, and wrong. Its outline shimmered like heat on asphalt. But the temperature dropped so fast the windows frosted over. The figure moved once, a slow, unnatural tilt of the head. Then the lamps exploded back on, and it was gone. The rangers arrive and then refuse to enter. When the sun finally rose, the ranger truck pulled up fast, too fast. 2 rangers jumped out, almost slipping on the ice. Mr. Carter tried explaining everything, breathless and shaking. But the rangers didn't look confused. They didn't look surprised. They looked afraid. One ranger finally said, "Cabin 6 shouldn't have been rented. The power readings last night went off the charts." The other ranger added quietly, "This cabin, it doesn't behave the same in December." The family left immediately. They never went back. But here's the part that still haunts people. That night, when the rangers inspected cabin 6, they found something shoved under the floorboards near the living room wall, a red Christmas ornament, identical to the one Sarah saw. Inside it, preserved behind the glass, was a tiny frozen face. Not a toy, not a carving, a real face from a missing child case in the area from 1986. Cabin 6 was sealed off permanently the next morning. But hikers still report strange lights flickering in the windows every December. And sometimes, when the snow is heavy and the forest is silent, people say you can hear slow scraping footsteps circling the cabin, just waiting for someone to come back. Story 3. The Santa That Followed Us Home. Oregon, 1994, true report. The year was 1994, and the Whitlock family had just moved to a quiet town outside Bend, Oregon, a place surrounded by deep forests, winding mountain roads, and long stretches of silence in winter. Their oldest son, 12-year-old Evan, was the kind of kid who noticed things most people didn't. The way snow settles, the way shadows stretch at night, the way sounds travel through the woods. That Christmas he noticed something new, something watching. It began on December 18th, the night they visited the town's annual Christmas parade. A cheerful, harmless event, or so they thought. The parade included a marching band, a few decorated trucks, some local firefighters tossing candy, and at the very end, a tall, thin Santa walking on foot, waving slowly, almost lazily, behind everyone else. Nothing unusual except he didn't smile. He didn't say Merry Christmas. He just stared, and Evan felt that stare hit him like ice. At first, he tried ignoring it. Kids get creeped out by mascots all the time. But something was off. The Santa didn't blink, not once. He walked past Evan's family at the end of the route, but instead of turning left with the parade committee, he turned right to the end of the dark parking lot. No car, no elves, no helpers, just Santa, stepping into the shadows. Evan tugged his mother's sleeve. "That Santa's weird." She laughed. "He's just tired, honey." But Evan watched the shadows long after they left, and as they walked to their car, he swore he heard slow, heavy footsteps behind them. Crunch, 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 matching their pace. Stopping when they stopped. Starting when they started. When he turned around, nothing was there. Just falling snow. On the first night and the rooftop sound. 2 nights later, at exactly 2:54 a.m., Evan woke up to a sound. A single deliberate thump on the roof. Not like an animal, not like ice falling. This one was heavy, human. Then came another sound, a slow drag across the shingles. Scurp, then a set of footsteps. Step, step, pause, step. He froze in bed, holding his breath. Downstairs, his mom called out, "Did you hear that?" His dad checked the front and backyards with a flashlight. Nothing but snow. But the next morning, when they went outside, they found something on the roof. Boot prints, large, deep, and spaced like someone had walked carefully across the top of the house. But here's the part that made Evan's dad go pale. They weren't climbing footprints. They weren't sliding footprints. They were perfectly placed one after another, like someone had stepped down, then stepped back up, as if the person didn't climb. They descended straight from above. There was no ladder, no access point, no tracks leading to the house. Just footprints on the roof, and nothing else. December 23rd, the Santa in the driveway. That evening, Evan's mother pulled into the driveway after grocery shopping. At the end of the driveway, under the dim street lamp, stood a tall Santa figure. Same red suit, same slow wave, same dead expression. But this time he wasn't part of any parade. There was no event, no festivities. He was just standing there, watching the house. Evan's mom dropped the groceries and ran inside. His dad charged outside with a baseball bat, ready, furious, terrified. But when he reached the driveway, Santa was gone. No footsteps in the fresh snow. Not even one. Only a single candy cane left standing upright in the snowbank, perfectly vertical, as if placed with intention. The family called the sheriff. He came. He listened. He searched. He found nothing. But before leaving, he said something that never left them. If you see him again, don't go near. There's been reports before. We just don't talk about them. At Christmas Eve, the chimney. The true horror began Christmas Eve. Around 1:30 a.m., Evan heard a sound, directly above the fireplace. A deep scraping sound. Then a grunt, a shifting weight, something heavy trying to force its way down the chimney. Ash rained from the inside. Dust fell onto the hearth. The grate rattled. Evan grabbed his sister and ran to his parents' room. His dad stormed into the living room and shouted, "Who's there?" The chimney went silent. Dead silent. He aimed a flashlight into the grate. Nothing. Just darkness. But when he stepped closer, the entire living room filled with a deep, low exhale, like something enormous was breathing inside the walls. He yanked his family into the car and peeled out of the driveway at full speed. They didn't stop until they reached the sheriff's office. When deputies went back to inspect the house, they found the chimney torn apart from the inside. Claw marks, boot scuffs, scratches deep enough to tear brick, and wedged between two broken bricks was something worse. A small strip of red fabric, soft, furry, from a Santa suit, fresh, not weathered, not old, new. The final night, the window frame. The Whitlocks stayed at a motel that night. One room, 2 beds, a TV that barely worked. The sheriff promised to keep a patrol outside. For the first time in days, they tried to relax. By 4 a.m., the town was silent. Then, a knock. Not on the door, not on the walls, on the window. 3 slow, heavy taps. Tap, tap, tap. Evan's father ripped open the curtains and stopped breathing. There, in the frost of the window, pressed from the outside, was the outline of a massive red sleeve, a gloved hand, and a faint reflection, a tall Santa figure standing just beyond the glass. The sheriff's patrol car lights flashed, but when officers ran toward the window, Santa vanished into the blizzard. No footsteps, no trail, no direction. Just a single message scratched into the frost. You were good this year. The aftermath. The Whitlocks moved out of Oregon 3 weeks later. The house was sold, then abandoned. Neighbors reported strange activity every December. A tall figure wandering the street, a silhouette on roofs, knocks on windows, candy canes appearing in yards, boot prints appearing on porches overnight. One family even claimed they saw a Santa figure crawling down the side of their house. Head tilted, arms dangling, moving in slow, unnatural pulses. Police say the reports always peak between December 20th, 25, and always start with a parade sighting. A Santa who doesn't blink, doesn't smile, and doesn't walk with the others. Locals call him the one that follows. And every Christmas, somewhere in Oregon, someone claims they hear footsteps on their roof, followed by a slow, heavy knock. Story 4. The thing that crawled out of the attic. Snow hammered against the old New England farmhouse like a million ghostly fingers tapping at once. It was Christmas Eve, and 27-year-old Lauren had promised her parents she'd drive home from Boston for the holidays. But a brutal blizzard swallowed the roads, and she ended up stranded in her childhood home alone. Just her, and the thing she hadn't thought about in 12 years. The attic. Growing up, Lauren always felt something watched her from that dusty, dark space above her bedroom. Her mom said it was just the house settling. Her dad said mice. Lauren never believed them, because sometimes late at night she heard breathing, that shallow, slow, uneven inhale, exhale, not the kind an animal makes, the kind a person makes when they're trying not to be heard. And tonight, as wind punched the wooden walls and the power flickered, that same breathing returned, not faint, not distant, but heavy, directly above her. In the attic, Lauren froze midway through decorating the small Christmas tree, her hand still holding a string of lights. The sound vibrated through the beams. Inhale, exhale, pause, inhale. No, she whispered. Not again. Not after all these years. But the house answered her with a loud thump. Directly overhead, she dropped the lights, heart slamming into her ribs. Something scraped the attic floor, long, dragging, rhythmic. Not footsteps, not scurrying, dragging, like something pulling itself across the boards. Toward the attic stairs, Lauren grabbed her phone. No service. The blizzard had cut off everything. She took a shaky breath and stepped into the hallway, staring at the pull-string door that led upward. The string swayed slightly, like something on the other end had just touched it. Then, the attic door cracked open, just an inch. Cold, stale air flowed out. The smell of dust, old wood, and something else. What? Lauren's fight-or-flight collapsed into pure survival instinct. She bolted to the kitchen, grabbed a long fireplace poker, and held it trembling in both hands. Upstairs, the attic door creaked open wider. 5 inches, 8 inches. Then it stopped. Silence. Lauren's breath fogged in the freezing air as she inched back toward the hallway. She could feel it. Something was watching her from that gap, and then she saw it. A hand, pale, thin, with fingers too long to be human. The nails cracked and gray. The hand gripped the edge of the attic opening like it was preparing to swing its body down. Lauren stumbled backward in horror. No, 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 please! The fingers curled tighter. A low, wet growl rolled down from the darkness, and then it dropped. Not gently, not with control. It fell. A mass of limbs, hair, pale skin, and jerking movement crashed onto the hallway floor like a puppet with cut strings. The thing twisted its body unnaturally, its spine bending the wrong way as its face. A pale, hollow-eyed parody of a human snapped toward Lauren. She screamed as it scuttled toward her on all fours, its movements jerky, sharp, and spider-like. She swung the fireplace poker. Crack! It slammed into the creature's shoulder, but the thing didn't stop. It lunged, its mouth opening impossibly wide. Lauren ran. She sprinted down the stairs, leapt into the living room, and slammed the heavy oak door shut behind her. The thing slammed into the other side, snarling and clawing. The door shuddered violently with every hit. She shoved the couch against it, stacked chairs, a table, anything she could find. The pounding grew louder, faster. Then it stopped. Silence. Lauren stood frozen, the poker trembling in her grip. Minutes crawled by. Then, thump, above her. The attic. It had climbed back up, and it was waiting. The storm raged outside, trapping her in. The creature paced the attic for hours, thumping, dragging, growling. Lauren sat on the living room floor with the poker in her lap and tears streaking her face. The sun finally rose. The storm calmed. And the second she heard a snowplow rumble by, Lauren sprinted out of the house and flagged it down, screaming for help. When police arrived, they searched the attic. They found nothing. Just old boxes, dust, and a wooden floor covered in long, deep scratch marks. Marks no animal could have made. Lauren never returned after that Christmas, and the house still sits there today. Empty. Except, neighbors say every winter on stormy nights they hear something inside it, dragging, breathing, waiting for someone to come home. Story 5 and last, The Miracle on Hollow Ridge Road. Snow fell in thick, silent sheets over Hollow Ridge, a small Pennsylvania town that looked like a picture-perfect Christmas postcard. Every porch had glowing lights. Every roof shimmered with fresh snow. Every window flickered with warm golden decorations. But there was one house, House number 119, where no one dared to hang lights. No wreaths, no stockings, no tree, because something lived inside that house. Something that appeared every Christmas Eve. And 14-year-old Evan Mullins, who had just moved to Hollow Ridge, had no idea what kind of nightmare he was stepping into. The night it started. It was Christmas Eve, just after 11 p.m. Evan stayed up alone in the living room, waiting for his mom to return from a late shift. He had hot chocolate, a cozy blanket, and the soft glow of Christmas lights filling the house. But then the lights flickered. Once, twice, then died completely. The entire neighborhood went dark. But outside, House 119 lit up, One single upstairs window glowed with a faint, eerie red light. Evan frowned. That house was empty, right? He stepped closer to the window to peek outside. And that's when he saw her. A tall, thin woman standing alone in the snow between his house and 119. Barefoot, wearing a torn nightgown, her hair soaking wet, her face tilted upward like she was smelling the air. Evan instinctively pulled back from the window, but the woman's head snapped toward him. Her eyes, glowing faintly red in the dark, locked directly onto his. She raised her arm slowly and pointed straight at his house. Then she whispered, though he couldn't possibly hear it through the walls, his name. Ivan! Evan stumbled backward in terror. The woman suddenly dropped to all fours and crawled toward the house, her limbs jerking like they were bending wrong, snow spraying behind her. Evan ran to the front door. Bang! She slammed into it from outside. The entire frame shook. Bang, bang, bang! Her fist pounded the wood so fast it didn't sound human. Then, silence. Evan stood frozen, still clutching the doorknob. Slowly, very slowly, he pulled the small curtain aside to see if she was still there. She wasn't, but the snow outside showed footprints, leading not away, but around the side of the house. Directly toward the back door, Evan turned. Knock, knock, knock. From the kitchen. 3 taps, soft, almost polite. He crept forward, heart banging like a drum in his chest. The back window was fogged from the cold, but a faint silhouette stood behind it. Tall, thin, unmoving. Evan grabbed his phone, no signal. He reached for the landline, dead. The figure outside slid one long finger down the glass, leaving a pale trail in the frost. Evan whispered, "What do you want?" The silhouette leaned close to the glass. Too close. Its face slowly pushed into view. Black hollow eyes, a mouth stretched far too wide, skin gray and cracked, and wet hair plastered across its cheeks. She mouthed a word. "Come." Evan stumbled backward. The woman outside pressed her entire face to the glass, leaving a dripping wet imprint. Then she began scratching. Not violently. Not fast. Slowly. Methodically. Like she was carving something. Evan stared in horror as she etched letters into the frost. 119. The empty house. The one glowing red. The one nobody approached. Evan realized she wasn't asking him to let her in. She wanted him to go to her. The house across the street. The scratching stopped. When Evan looked again, the woman was already walking toward 119. Not crawling, not limping, walking. Perfectly straight and calm, like she knew he had no choice but to follow. And he didn't know why. But something inside him felt pulled, dragged, like invisible hands pushing him forward. He slipped on his coat and boots, shaking uncontrollably, and stepped into the freezing wind. House through 119's red-lit window pulsed faintly like a heartbeat. The front door was slightly open. Evan whispered to himself, "Please don't go inside, please." But his feet moved anyway. He pushed the door open, slowly, and immediately gagged at the smell. Rotting pine, wet dirt, and something like burnt sugar. The living room was covered in old Christmas decorations, broken lights, collapsed wooden ornaments, a tree that looked like it had been dead for decades. He heard footsteps upstairs. Slow, heavy, purposeful. He turned toward the staircase, and there she was. The woman, standing halfway down the stairs, her head tilted, her lips stretched into a smile that split her skin slightly. She whispered, "You came." Evan backed away, but the door behind him slammed shut on its own. Her eyes glowed brighter. "You always come back on Christmas Eve. Don't you remember?" Evan shook his head violently. No, I've never been here before." She descended another step. Not in this life. The lights flickered red. The air grew heavy, and the woman's form shifted. Her bones snapped and twisted. Her height stretched impossibly. Her mouth opened until it was no longer a mouth, just a long black void. A voice echoed from deep inside it. "Welcome home." Evan screamed and sprinted toward the kitchen, slamming into cupboards, knocking over old decorations. The woman's elongated limbs dragged behind him, scraping across the wood like knives. He burst through the back door, tumbling into the snow, sprinting wildly toward his own house. Behind him, a shriek. Unhuman, so sharp his ears rang. He dove inside his house and locked everything. Lights flickered, Something ran across the roof overhead. Then, silence. His mom got home 2 hours later to find Evan sobbing in the living room. The next morning, Christmas Day, police searched house Dara 119. They found no footprints in the snow, no signs of entry, no evidence of anyone inside for decades, except one thing. On the frosted living room window of 119 were the words etched with a finger, "See you next Christmas."